Fortitude. It's a word that embodies strength, resilience, and an unyielding spirit.
Welcome to Fortitude Family, where future legacies are born. And today we're taking a deep dive into Family Inc. by Douglas McCormick, a book that really flips the script on personal finance by asking us to think of our families like, well, businesses.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating approach. McCormick argues that just like a successful company, families need a strategic plan to really achieve financial success, and not just for today, but for generations to come.
And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. We're going to explore those key lessons from Family Inc.
Sounds good. Let's jump right in. Lesson number 1, viewing your family as a business. This is the foundation.
Okay, so how do we take this business mindset and actually apply it to something as personal as family finances?
Well, McCormick's argument is that every family, they've got income, they've got expenses, and they have assets just like a company would. And someone in the family, maybe both of you, needs to step into that CFO role to think strategically about managing those resources.
So we're not just talking about balancing the checkbook here. We're talking about a bigger picture, right?
100%. McCormick's family actually went so far as to create a financial mission statement. Can you believe that it outlined their core values and goals, things like achieving financial independence? So work becomes a choice, maximizing their lifetime earning potential, really investing in themselves and their future, and of course, teaching the next generation about smart money management, passing the torch.
I actually love that idea of a family financial mission statement. It gets everyone on the same page, literally. But let's get a bit more specific, shall we? Lesson number 2, the family balance sheet.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
All right, picture this. It's a snapshot of your family's financial health at this very moment, just like a business would do. You list out your assets, the things you own, your house, your savings investments, and you subtract your liabilities, the things you owe, like mortgages or loans.
So knowing your numbers is crucial here.
It's absolutely essential. McCormick tells this story about leaving a high-paying job and having this realization hitting him like a ton of bricks, that he needed to know exactly where his family stood financially before making any other big moves. It was his wake-up call to get serious about tracking their balance sheet, just like a business would.
Makes you realize sometimes those big life changes can be the push we need to get our financial house in order. Okay, so lesson 3 takes us to the family income statement. Now, this is where McCormick emphasizes the importance of monitoring your income and expenses, basically understanding where your money is coming from and where it's going.
Right, like tracking your cash flow, just like a business would.
Exactly. And he stresses the importance of living below your means to make sure you have that excess income to invest and build wealth. He actually admits that he learned this lesson the hard way early in his career when he and his wife, despite having a good income, were delaying their financial independence because they weren't really tracking their spending carefully.
Yeah, it's a common trap, especially when your income increases. That lifestyle inflation can really sneak up on you.
It can, for sure. So monitoring your cash flow and making sure that your spending aligns with your financial goals, it's super important. I like that. Now, this next one really grabbed my attention, lesson number 4, valuing your labor. What does that even mean?
Oh, this is a good one. This is where the light bulb really goes off. McCormick's saying that your ability to earn income, your skills, your knowledge, your experience, that is your biggest asset, your human capital, he calls it.
So we're not just talking about your current salary, but your potential to earn over your entire lifetime.
Exactly. And this means that your career decisions, choosing a profession, negotiating your salary, continually developing your skills, those all have a huge impact on your overall financial success. And that leads us perfectly into lesson 5, investing in yourself through those education and career choices.
Exactly. Building on that idea of valuing your labor as an asset. It's about being strategic, choosing professions carefully, acquiring those in-demand skills, being proactive in your career to really maximize your earning power.
McCormick encourages us to approach education and career choices like any other investment. Think about the potential return on investment. And of course, try to align those passions of yours with financial viability as well.
Yeah, finding that sweet spot where you can do what you love and still create a financially secure life.
Exactly. He shares a story about a friend who pursued a low-paying degree and later faced some, financial constraints. And I think that story really highlights the importance of making those informed decisions about your education and your career path, balancing those passions with the realities of the job market.
Right. It's not about discouraging people from pursuing their dreams. It's about encouraging them to be realistic about those financial implications and to, make informed decisions that support both their passions and their financial well-being.
Exactly. And that leads us to lesson 6, which is all about risk management.
Yeah, protecting what you've built.
Yeah.
McCormick draws parallels to the corporate world again here, emphasizing how important it is to protect your family's assets from those potential risks.
Right. He talks about things like having the right insurance coverage, health insurance, life insurance, disability, liability insurance, and also building up that emergency fund to act as a financial cushion if something unexpected happens.
He actually shares some pretty powerful stories in the book, about a family member facing a medical emergency and a friend losing a business.
Hmm.
And I think those stories really drive home the importance of being prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that life throws curveballs, and having a safety net in place can make all the difference in protecting your family's financial well-being.
So lesson number 7, this takes us into the exciting world of saving and investing.
All right, so this is where we really start putting those business principles into action and, start building that wealth over time. Like that's what it's all about.
Right, exactly. So McCormick, he really breaks down those core principles of investing. We're talking about the magic of compound interest, that importance of diversification, and the need for a long-term strategy.
Compound interest, that's a big one.
It really is. It's amazing how starting early, even with small amounts, can make such a huge difference over time thanks to that power of compounding.
It's like that snowball rolling downhill, right? It just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Exactly. And he also dives into different asset classes like stocks, bonds, real estate, those alternative investments. And he kind of guides us on how to build a diversified portfolio that balances risk and potential reward.
So spreading your money around, not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, exactly. And he actually shares some really fascinating research findings that challenge some conventional wisdom. For example, did you know that when you look at investment returns over periods exceeding 20 years, stocks tend to be less risky than bonds?
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a little counterintuitive because, in the short term, stocks might seem more volatile.
Yeah.
They go up and down more. But over the long haul, historically, they've actually delivered stronger returns with less risk.
So it's really about taking that long view when it comes to investing.
Exactly. Patience is key. And he also shares how his parents instilled in him the importance of investing from a young age. His father was a military officer, and he really prioritized saving and investing, and it's a habit that clearly made a lasting impact on McCormick.
Yeah, it shows how much those early financial role models can really shape our habits and set us up for success later in life.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to lesson number 8, debt management. This can be a pretty daunting topic for a lot of people, but McCormick breaks it down in a way that's clear and actionable.
Yeah, he starts by differentiating between what he calls good debt and bad debt. It's a really important concept.
Yeah, for sure. So good debt, he explains, is debt that you use to acquire assets that are likely to appreciate in value over time.
Like a mortgage for a home.
Exactly. Or student loans for a degree that will boost your earning potential.
Okay, that makes sense. So then what's bad debt?
Bad debt is basically debt that you use for consumption, things that don't increase in value and, often depreciate quickly, like credit card debt for unnecessary purchases.
Or those high interest loans that can trap you in a cycle of debt.
Exactly. And he goes on to provide strategies for managing and eliminating debt, emphasizing the importance of, creating a budget, tracking your spending, and paying down that high interest debt first.
So getting a handle on your spending is really step one.
Absolutely. And he also highlights the importance of using credit wisely, maintaining a good credit score, and understanding how things like your credit utilization ratio can affect your financial health.
It's all connected, right?
It really is. And I think what makes these lessons even more impactful is that McCormick shares his own personal experiences, with managing student loans and mortgage debt. And he contrasts his approach with a colleague who really struggled with excessive consumer debt.
Yeah, those personal anecdotes really bring the concepts to life and make them more relatable.
For sure. Okay, now on to lesson number 9, retirement planning. Something that a lot of people, especially when they're younger, tend to put off. But McCormick makes a really compelling case for why starting early is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, he frames retirement planning as a long-term business strategy, emphasizing those clear financial goals, understanding all those different retirement vehicles that are out there, and creating that roadmap to actually achieve your retirement dreams.
It's like having that business plan for your future self.
Exactly. And of course, he highlights the power of compounding again, showing how starting early, even with small contributions, can lead to significant savings over time.
It's never too early to start, right?
Never too early. And he provides a clear overview of those different retirement vehicles, like your 401ks, your IRAs, pensions, explaining the key differences and helping families make those informed decisions about where to invest those retirement savings.
And he also stresses the importance of diversification within your retirement portfolio. Just like with any investment portfolio, spreading your investments across those different asset classes to help mitigate risk and maximize returns.
Right, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And he also encourages families to regularly review and adjust their retirement plan as their financial situation and their goals change, ensuring their investments are aligned with their long-term vision.
Because life happens, things change, and your plan needs to adapt.
Exactly. And he also touches on the importance of estate planning, making sure your assets are distributed according to your wishes and that your family is protected.
That's a big one, especially as you accumulate more wealth.
Absolutely. He even shares an anecdote about receiving valuable advice from a mentor early in his career who really urged him to start thinking about retirement savings immediately. And it clearly had a huge impact on him and his ability to build a strong retirement portfolio.
It's a good reminder to seek out that guidance from those who have experience, those mentors who can help us along the way.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and now for the final core lesson. Lesson number 10, teaching financial literacy to the next generation.
Now, this is a legacy worth building, right?
Absolutely. Equipping our children with financial knowledge, it's a gift that truly keeps on giving.
McCormick, he believes it's one of the most valuable things that we can pass down to our children. It's about giving them the tools, the mindset to navigate this complex world of money and make those sound financial decisions throughout their lives.
And it's never too early to start, right? Even young children can grasp those basic financial concepts if you introduce them in engaging and age-appropriate ways.
Make it fun, make it relevant to their lives.
Exactly. And he actually shares some great examples of how he teaches his own kids about money. Remember the allowance system we were talking about? He actually has his children allocate their allowance into different categories: saving, spending, and investing. It's such a smart way to introduce them to budgeting, decision-making, and the concept of delayed gratification.
Yeah, it makes those abstract financial concepts more tangible, more relatable to their everyday lives.
Exactly. And he also set up a custodial investment account for his kids, and he lets them choose stocks to invest in, encourages them to research those companies, understand those, the basics of the stock market, and then explain their reasoning behind their choices.
So he's getting them involved in that whole process, not just handing them money.
Yeah, giving them that hands-on experience.
And he also encourages them to, think like entrepreneurs. He helps them start those little ventures like lemonade stands or, selling crafts, which I think is great because it teaches them about business, customer service, that connection between hard work and, earning money.
Yeah, fostering that entrepreneurial spirit.
And he believes in that financial transparency within the family, like,
Mm.
involving kids in those age-appropriate discussions about family expenses, investments, financial goals, that kind of stuff.
We're just normalizing those conversations about money.
Exactly, and preparing those children for real-world financial decision-making.
And of course, he emphasizes that importance of teaching kids about delayed gratification, instilling that value of patience, financial discipline, and, the satisfaction of earning their own rewards.
Yeah, those are crucial life skills, not just financial skills.
Absolutely. McCormick's dedication to his children's financial education is really inspiring. He's really setting them up for a lifetime of financial well-being.
It's a great example for all of us to follow. Financial education is an ongoing process. It's a journey.
Hmm.
And we embark on that journey with our families, guiding them, supporting them along the way.
And for those of you who have stuck with us through this deep dive so far, we have a special bonus lesson to share.
A little something extra for those who are committed to building that financial fortitude.
Exactly. And this bonus lesson focuses on a really powerful concept from Family Inc., recognizing that you're actually managing two careers simultaneously.
Two careers. I thought we were just talking about one.
Well, it's a way of reframing how we view our financial lives. So McCormick, he introduces this idea of having your professional career, which is the job where you earn your salary, but also an investment career, which is your long-term responsibility for managing and growing your wealth.
So it's not just about earning money. It's also about what you do with that money.
Exactly. And while most people focus really heavily on their professional careers, McCormick argues that true financial freedom, that real independence, often comes from mastering your investment career.
So it's about becoming a savvy investor.
Exactly. Allocating those assets wisely, building those passive income streams, and taking an active role in managing and growing your wealth.
So it's like having a second job, but it's managing your money.
In a way, yeah. And he encourages families to really embrace financial literacy, to seek out that knowledge about different investment vehicles, strategies, risk management techniques, all of that.
Become a student of finance, basically.
Exactly. And he even shares his personal journey of shifting his focus from just earning a salary to really prioritizing investment income, a change that led to significant wealth accumulation for his family.
So he walks the walk, he's not just talking the talk.
Exactly. It's a testament to the power of adopting that investor mindset and taking ownership of your financial future. By really mastering both your professional and investment careers, you can build a more holistic approach to wealth creation.
It's a powerful concept, this idea of the double career.
It really is.
Remember, building a lasting legacy, it's a journey, not a destination. It's about making conscious choices every day. Choices that align with your values and contribute to a brighter future for generations to come.
Don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons to stay up to date from Fortitude Family. We'll be back soon with more insights on building legacies that last.